Hey guys, just finished watching Arrow. Um, I think this one was called Felicity Smoak, if I'm not mistaken, or Felicity or whatnot. Um, this one definitely was very good. I mean, I saw the pictures early on last week. Um, well, not early on last week. I mean, later last week after last week's episode. They started surfacing late last week, over the weekend actually. Whatever. And it was just the pictures of Felicity. Emily. Is it Emily? Emily Barnett or something like that? I don't know. I might be mixing up actors and actresses and whatnot. Actors. Um, the Seeing her with black hair was just so different, especially when I first saw the first photo. It was just so out there. It was so like, um, I mean, I didn't recognize her at all until I read the captions on the photos on the sites that said that it was her. And then I was able to see her through it. And so it was really good. Really good makeup and whatnot. I mean, you could tell it is a wig. I mean, they're not gonna make up her for yourself quite those 15 seconds. I mean, probably all told 5 minutes maybe of footage, maybe a little bit more. Like no more than 10 minutes of footage. So clearly, it's obvious that she had a wig on once I really noticed it. But on first glance, seeing those photos online, I didn't really couldn't tell that it was a wig, and so it definitely that in that part it was pretty good. I understand that they're she needs to be blonde for so long in the show that for so much and then for so little they had this these flashbacks that it makes sense to not have to go on and fully dye her hair. But so it was definitely believable, the costume, and it looked very good, especially when at first glance online, it was very good. So I give them props for that. The whole this whole story, in this episode, it was very. I mean, I knew coming into it. I mean, I had seen the commercials. You probably saw, like, I think I posted the pictures last week. Just like of the trailer for this episode. So I saw the trailer and whatnot. So I knew that was that it was coming. That she was going to be a part of it. She was her. It was her. It was her server. Her. What do you want to call it? Her software, her hack, her virus. It was her virus. That's the word I'm looking for. Her virus. She was the one who created the virus, and the software that hacked and did all this terror and whatnot. Um, you know, it just definitely seized the idea at the beginning when I thought, you know, it just reminded me, this episode. It was um, it reminded me of back when in season one, when Oliver, season one, no, back to the season two, when Oliver talked was talking to when Barry was introduced, when Grant Gustin first did his Flash appearance as Barry Allen, when he got lightning bolt 9 months ago, in Flash, that episode. I think it was almost a year ago, getting close to a year ago now. So in that episode, at least that one, or the one, yeah, that I think in that episode, he Oliver tells, like, Felicity tells, they get Flash, and they tell Barry who Oliver's the Arrow, so he can save him and do all that stuff. And then when Oliver comes back up, wakes back up, he's all mad that he's that they told Barry just out of nowhere, and he's like, well, you told us, what's the difference between me, and he's like, I did research on you, I did everything. So who's to say that if he did research, how did he not find? I mean, he's Oliver Queen, how did he not know of this past? Um, you know, I just don't think. I think that I guess maybe they don't want to play him too much of a. I mean, he already is very much a lot like Batman. Just instead of batarangs, he has arrows. So maybe they didn't want to have him know everything about her pre going in, because they didn't want to have him too much like Batman. But it's already pretty much close to Batman. The people who are not going to make the connection that he's not a lot like Batman are not comic book fans. Are not well. They're not comic book fans. They haven't read the comic books. Not that they're not true comic book fans. They just haven't read the comics. Um, So I guess you could kind of say they're not diehard comic fans, but um, not ones who have read the comics. So I definitely think that maybe he should have known that about her pre going into it. Maybe not. I understand he would never have recognized that her I mean, he never would have recognized that she would never would have known that she created the virus. He in the record, it would have only have known that her boyfriend created the virus. And one thing I don't understand, I wasn't sure of, is that in the flashback when she's talking to her boyfriend on the those systems, those phones in prison there, aren't those like, wouldn't those things be recording, and put and like, wouldn't those things be monitored, the audio, and record the conversation and all that stuff. I mean, so that in case, so that no one in jail plans an escape, because they're just planning an escape and they just make it all work, and and they have everything there to stop them beforehand. So I don't see how. Then again, because she basically admitted that she did it, and he kind of admitted that she did it too, and he's like, yes, but you know, so what I mean? So he admitted that she did it, and they both admitted. So if they would have been recorded, they would have busted her. She never would have. Nothing of this would have happened. But little detail that I kind of caught up on. But I don't know. Maybe they don't record things like that. It's just like part of the privacy or whatnot. But I don't know. All I know is that if people in jail, the ones who are there, if you're there, they're most likely there for a reason, unless you're Mr. Allen. Uh, the idea of not recording the phone calls is pretty silly. I mean, they've kind of lost that right of to privacy once you've gotten in there for some reason. So yeah, but other than that, it's definitely really good this episode. Seeing Felicity's mother there and seeing Ray Palmer. And also, I kind of wanted to do a video on this, but I never didn't got to get around to it with school and all. But Brandon Routh tweeted out a picture of him getting casted for the costume of Ray Palmer, the costume of the Atom. And by casted, I mean literally they made a paper mache mold or mold. They had made a mold of him down to here for the costume and whatnot. So that is pretty awesome. Now, are they doing it now? Now, are they doing it now so that for next season? Who knows? I would think that if they're only doing it, getting to this part, this is such a beginning, the casting of for making the costume. I think this is so like you do this so like so long to do this, and I guess I would imagine it would. That I think that if they were gonna if they would have had him if he would be suiting up in this in this show, I don't think he'll be suiting up until like the last episode, of this season at the end. I don't think he'll be shooting up. Definitely not before Christmas, especially if they're just, doing this. I would really be surprised to see him, and to see the full costume, see the Atom, the full Atom, his full costume before the end of before the end of the season. Really be surprised to see that. I'd be really surprised to do that. I thought they would already have that done, but other than that, it was very interesting this episode. It was definitely a 9 this episode until I saw the ending. The ending just pushed it up to that 9.5 for me because the ending was just, oh my god, with Roy just like looking and and it almost this episode makes the ending to this episode makes me want to go back and watch the first episode of this season 3 to really take a look at the guy's mask, and look at the guy who was really the killer. I mean, obviously we don't know who he is or whatnot, but just to make sure that it wasn't actually him or some reason in the costume in the suit somehow. Because I don't know, they could take something. Because when you saw in the flashbacks, was him back in just the red hoodie. Was not Arsenal with his bow or anything like that. It was just him in this red hoodie. The way he was freaking out when he had the Mirakura in him. So there's a possibility that maybe this is some side effects of the Mirakuru. But I just don't see how they're going to get away with if they do that. If they go that route, I don't see how they're going to do it and um, have it be. All of a sudden he's having side effects. So he hasn't had side effects all summer. He hasn't had side effects. I mean, obviously it just like he actually I think he just lost it at the last minute last episode of season 2. But all these weeks, like 3 months, not almost like more than 9. Well, I guess a little bit less than not 9 months, but if you like months have gone by, like 3 or 4 months, and he's what all of a sudden now the Mirakuru is starting to affect him. Now maybe they can make it that he's sweat. They could explain it somehow, and maybe they'll get away with it. He kind of the antidote wore off after now or something, but I don't know. But they really have to work hard on making it believable if they go the route of the Mirakuru's back in him, or the Mirakuru's kind of starting to, or there's little bits left that's affecting him, which I hope they don't go that way, and they just go some random dreams and don't and do that. It would be more believable than the Mirakuru causing it, but he is wearing his red hoodie, which he hasn't worn since um, he hasn't worn since the ending of since last season. So I don't think I think it's definitely possible. We'll see if that is. So let me know what you think. Do you think has a Mirakuru left in him? And he's having side effects of that now. And if he's having side effects of the Mirakuru, what about all of the other guys who Slade himself and all the other guys who are dealing with that? I forget what they did to all the like the army that Slade had. Um, you know, I definitely think is very interesting to see. Hopefully they won't go like that way and start having the whole Mirakuru. And I don't think that they may not go with that with Roy, just because I think that now that I'm thinking of it, if they do something with the Mirakuru with him, then it has to work on then they have to explain on everyone else, who all the other guys who were Mirakuru, and then and Slade, and then it just becomes bringing like the whole you know you got to bring all of them guys back in there. So I don't think that they would go that now that I'm thinking of it, but you never know, and it's the only reason I can explain why was he dreaming of him himself, and why was he in the red suit, the red jacket, and not his just normal clothes um or his Arsenal costume. And I don't see why not that. So we'll see. We'll have to find out. Let me know what you think. Mirakuru, no Mirakuru. What do you know? What do you think? I don't know. We'll see next week, guys. Peace.